This story I'm about to tell you is not out of hate, retaliation, revenge. It's out of care and love for you and your family, that hopefully you don't have to experience this and go through what I had to go through. On February 29th, I got a call that my grandmother had fallen.
Hi. Did you get a message about Grandma? She fell again and hit her head and it was bleeding, so they took her up to the hospital.
She was in assisted living at Oak Park Place. She'd been there for a little over a month. She's 100 years old. She was completely independent, driving 2 years ago, living on her own until she moved into Oak Park Place. She had fallen at the kind of end of January, and I didn't want her to be alone if she had fallen and no one to find her or be with her. She was very stoic and liked to be independent and do things her way. But I finally convinced her to go into assisted living at Oak Park Place. It's supposed to be the best place in Baraboo. When I was going through the admissions, I told the person in charge of admissions that I need to make sure that someone checks in on her at night, because that was my biggest fear, is something would happen. I was told that every 2 hours someone would come in and check on her. They do it for all the assisted living residents and pretty much all the residents, and they go on these, just pop their head in, make sure everything's okay, nothing's going on. And so I felt comfortable having my grandmother move in there. The week before, she had fallen. She was having some complaints about the staff and they weren't being attentive. She had a thing that she could push to get people to come into her room, and she said sometimes it'd take an hour, sometimes 2. I talked to them, nothing serious or any big conversation came out of it. They just said, oh, she's not pushing it hard enough or something like that. So on February 29th, I went to go to the hospital to see my grandmother, and her injuries were horrible. It turns out that the last time someone had checked in on her was, I believe, around 2:40 a.m. And then they found her, I believe it was around 7:30 a.m. on the 29th. So for 5 hours, no one checked on her. On the left side of her body, she had multiple fractures. She had open wounds. Her shoulder had been dislodged, dislocated. Parts of her leg, hip were broken. From the medical report from the coroner, the hospital, her cause of death was from these injuries. So she had been left alone for 5 hours. The pain that she was in, she was very stoic, always very presentable. Anyone who ever met her just said her and my grandfather were just kind of Norman Rockwell, classy humans, and I'd never seen my grandmother like this, in so much pain and screaming and crying. She was telling me that she had been laying on the floor crying out all night for someone to help her, to come. They have these bracelets that they wear to bring an attendant into the room, but the way she had fallen, she was not able to reach it. Her body was twisted, and so she couldn't use that bracelet to get the attendant to come. On March 1st, she passed away at 12:10 p.m. due to her injuries. And if anyone knows me, they've seen through the years how much I've spent with my grandparents, trying to make them comfortable, happy. When my grandfather passed, I had put something on Facebook, and people in my social network from all over the world and people that I don't even know sent cards to my grandmother, sent flowers, gifts, care packages. Just this Christmas, a friend of mine had taken my grandfather's flannel shirts and made a beautiful quilt for my grandmother. And I spent the last 10 years trying to make them. Just comfortable. And to see this happen, I just wanted, for her to go out quiet. I mean, I thought she'd live, even though she was 100. I thought she'd live longer than I would. She was so strong, I never thought she'd pass away. And I tried to have Oak Park Place and Baraboo talk to me, communicate to me, and they won't. They've sent me numbers to their insurance people and their lawyers, and they won't talk to me. And through doing some research, it turns out that like 10,000 people a year have just reported negligence in nursing homes in the state of Wisconsin. 10 people a year die to negligence in the state of Wisconsin. And there's resources out there. I'll put them either in the notes or in a graphic in the video. And if you need help or this has happened to you, reach out. I'm in the state of Wisconsin. I'm next to kin. I got all of the reports, everything I needed. I got the best attorneys in Wisconsin for elderly law, but since I am the next of kin, there's nothing I can do. And my mother is too afraid to do anything and riddled with fear because Oak Park Place is such a prominent establishment in the state, and she feels that she can't go against them. And this isn't the first time this has happened. It's not going to be the last. So I want you to, if this happens, to raise your voice, say something, stop this. I don't get to say Happy Mother's Day to my grandmother. She would have still been here. So just tell your family you love them. Don't be afraid. We have to stop this. This is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you.
And many more.
Can't have too many more.
Hi, Jason. It's Grandma. I was playing bingo when you were here, probably. I see you put the little shelf with the little bird on it. Yeah, so, okay, well, that's about all that's going on here. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye now. Thanks for putting the shelf and the bird up. Talk to you later. Bye.